Hey, well, it is Tuesday and it is time for that show again. It's called What in the World with Paul
Yeah.
Seaburn and his sidekick, John Donalo. And I want everybody to know who's listening today that you now have a sponsor, Paul, after all these years.
Wow.
And your sponsor is Yes, I Can Coaching with Karen. Now, I wonder who
Ooh.
that is. Happens to be me. But my coaching business is now going to sponsor your show because your show has the most episodes of all the shows on New Cleveland Radio. And we are
All
very
right.
proud of it.
Oh, it's good to
Well,
hear.
thank you. Yeah, that's great, Karen. And for all of you out there listening, if you need a coach, I can vouch for Karen. I have now known her for many years through both what's the name of this show again? Through What in the World?
Short-term memory loss.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, I'll tell you
I
what.
got some good memory pills if you need them. But
So we will be talking about that some more in the future. Check my Facebook page, check newclevelandradio.net for more information on Karen's coaching business. This is great. This is great news for Karen, great news for us at What in the World. So we couldn't be happier and we couldn't be more grateful to Karen. So yes, I am Paul Seaburn, host of What in the World. Today we're hoping that there's no gremlins in the system today. We're a little late starting up for a variety of reasons. We're not even going to talk about them because we don't want to feed whatever it is that might be messing with us. So I'm already getting messages on the screen here. There we go.
ignore them.
You know what? That's what I do. I do that with everything. So let's see. What do we got here? So we're on What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny is our motto. The other voice you heard so far is Karen Hale, the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our producer and our co-host. And our other co-host, I think he may have said something somewhere in there, is also on your screen and in your ear, John Donalo, host of What in the World of Sport. Our color commentator, all around good guy, my old dear friend. How are you doing? Welcome back from Florida, John.
Oh, thank you very much, Paul and Karen. It's great to be back, and it's great to be a Cleveland Browns fan today.
Today, yeah.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that at 4 or 4:30 this coming Sunday, we may be even more happy. But again, there's a game in between there. But hats off to the Cleveland Browns with a tremendous victory on the road in Baltimore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great game. If you didn't watch it, watch them against that team from Pennsylvania. And no matter who wins, we know who we hope will win. But I think it will be a good game nonetheless because of all the stuff going on in that division, and we could go on for hours about the Browns, and we don't want to jinx them. So John's got his lucky brownie. This is the new mascot, isn't it? Kind of
actually, Paul and Karen and audience, the elf, the brownie elf was the elf was like a logo back in the 1960s with the original Brown.
On
team, I should say.
Right.
There was never a logo on the helmet, never a logo on the jersey, but it was always the elf, right? So when the new team came back, they have actually, again, obviously a mascot that doesn't look, in my opinion, as good as this one. He's good.
No, that one looks great.
But this is the original. This is the original that you're looking at or whatever. But
well, John is our sports guy, and I've got a couple of sports stories for you, John, that I want to get your opinion on this week. So let's get right to the meat of the matter. What's going on in the world this week? Wait till you hear this, John. I'll tell you right up front. I got 2 Bigfoot stories with photos, so be ready for that.
And you can't be upset with photos. So let's see what they are. Come on now.
Okay, we've got the worst place to lose something from NASA. The best thing to never throw out, which comes from your mom. Okay, or maybe it's for your mom. I'm not sure which. You'll understand when we get to it. Pizza toppings for the brave from Hong Kong. Oh, this is Karen. Always loves our weird food. Home deliveries for the braver from Florida. John, you may have heard about this story while you were in Florida. World's largest guy project. Oh, wait till you hear this. This guy, his hobby is unbelievable. He's in California. We got a crime report from Parma, Ohio, where John and I grew up, right down the street here. Wait till you hear this one. This is a popular story on Facebook this week. Bigfoot story. We got more odd news. We've got world records. We got all kind of great stuff. So I want to get started, but first I want to do a shout out. Now, we always mention as much as we can some of our longtime faithful listeners, and one of them is our good buddy Brian down in West Virginia. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had our Halloween show, and one of the segments was about the most popular candy in each state. And the most popular candy in the state of West Virginia is hot tamales. And I don't think I made any disparaging remarks about either hot tamales or West Virginia or Brian, but Brian took it upon himself, as the faithful listener that he is, to send me a box of genuine West Virginia hot tamales.
Oh, nice.
There you go, Brian.
Where's mine?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, he told me. He said, "Oh, I assume you'll share them with John and Karen."
Well, maybe somewhere down the line, but not today.
Yeah, right. But I want to point out, I can understand now why West Virginia loves. I got to hold my finger over the hole here. Loves their hot tamales so much. For one thing, you don't have to tear open the box. It has a nice little hole there that you poke, so you get your hot tamales out one at a time. The hot tamale looks like this. It's, if you remember the movie, the red. Oh, now I lost it. It rolled under my keyboard. There it goes. Okay. Remember the movie The Matrix with the red pills and the blue pills? Well, here's a red pill for you. Sure. This is the best thing. It says on the box, there's a little picture of the actual size over here. And believe it or not, I'll hold it up here. It really is the actual size.
Wow.
And finally, that's right. And finally, just to make sure that our good friend Brian isn't trying to poison us, I will eat the red pill and on the air. So here you go. Wonderful, Brian.
Hope you have some water there.
So anyways, yeah. Oh, I got some water here just in case. All right. So let's get to it. Thanks again, Brian, for the hot tamales. Okay, so let's see. What do we got going on here? John, have you ever lost anything? I mean, other than your mind?
Yeah. Listen, my wife, it's a constant struggle with me because I'm always misplacing things. I eventually find them if they're in the house, but if I'm out of the house, I've lost, gloves, umbrellas, all kind of stuff. Yeah, sure.
Oh, have you ever? Well, you're not a big home improvement guy. Have you ever lost a tool?
No.
No. Okay. Well, this story is from NASA. Let me get the photo up here while I'm talking here to make sure everything's working correctly here. So this comes from NASA. The NASA astronauts on the International Space Station were working on the outside of the space station, and they dropped their toolkit. Now, this is a $100,000 toolkit. This is not just a hammer and a screwdriver. $100,000. This photo here with the circle on it shows it floating away from the International Space Station. But it gets, it gets better. Believe it or not, you and I and everybody else out there can see this in the sky with binoculars. You can't, it's not visible to the naked eye, but with an ordinary pair of binoculars, NASA claims, and they'll give you all of the, you go to the NASA website, they'll give you all of the places to look. You can see it floating from space. $100,000 worth of tools. I'm wondering, what were they fixing? The plumbing? Only plumbers have expensive tools like that. Does this come out of? That's what I want, because $100,000. The two have to pay for it. That's what I'm wondering. They have to pay for it in installments. One screwdriver at a time. Every week they take a screwdriver out. I don't know. John, what do you think?
Yeah, it's an amazing story. Okay, that first of all, how did they lose it, or how did it become
Well,
detached? Did they have any information?
obviously, they didn't go to Home Depot to get a tool belt, which, we would do.
Yeah, I mean that's their first mistake, obviously.
First thing they did, and this never happened on Star Trek, if you remember. And they only, I was thinking about it, Star Trek only had two tools. They had the tricorder, which the Dr. McCoy used to use, and they had a phaser. And Captain Kirk could do miracles with the phaser.
Yes.
They were cold. He would heat up a rock, and they'd put their hands around. He could weld. I remember when he was welding, putting on low power. He's welding with.
It's a multifaceted tool, obviously.
Yeah, and then if you need to shoot an alien or conquer a galaxy or something, you've got the perfect tool for you. So here's another one. Here's another photo here. So this is the astronaut, one of the astronauts who dropped the toolkit. Now, I don't want to sound sexist here, but the two astronauts, this was one of those space missions where the two astronauts on the spacewalk were both female astronauts. Now, Karen, do you ever lose your purse? No.
All the time.
Really? You do?
Yeah, I do.
I didn't. Well, I thought women never lost their purse. That was my point. They should have, instead of putting their tools in a toolkit, they should have put them in their purse, and then for sure they wouldn't lose them. But is that for real? You do lose your purse?
If I go out to a restaurant, I put my purse down. I forget to pick it up when I'm walking out.
No kidding.
Yeah.
This is why NASA didn't accept you into the astronaut program.
You're right.
Obviously.
Yep.
Wow. I did not know that. Okay. Well, so anyway, yeah, you can see it. Go to nasa.gov, and there's all kind of information on how to see it. Why, if that's what you want to do, get a light first. Anyways, okay. So what were they doing out there? This is the other thing, John's question. But believe it or not, NASA is working on with Kyoto University in Japan. They're working to make wooden space satellites, square satellites made out of wood. I think I have a photo of one here. There you go. This is obviously a recreation. It's not the real thing, but that's what they're going to look like, made out of wood. They were so. My guess was that the astronauts were practicing maybe assembling one from IKEA, and they they dropped the screw or something. I don't know, and that's when they dropped their cool toolkit. So, what they say is that wood in space is indestructible because there's no oxygen, so it can't rot, and there's no termites, so there's nothing to eat it. So they're thinking, and it's cheap. They're thinking this is one of the solutions for economical satellites in the future. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good plan to me. Wooden satellites. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to some food. Okay, so this is a hot story on Facebook this week. By the way, I mention that all the time. I have a page on Facebook. Look me up, under my name. You can follow me, friend me. I think I still have room for some more friends. And I test out some of the stories on Facebook, so you can be ahead of the game and find out what we might be talking about this week. So this was a hot story. The hot new pizza topping at Pizza Hut in Japan. Now, not Pizza Hut in the United States, Pizza Hut in Japan, in Hong Kong, I'm sorry, is shredded snake meat, which I know John already figured out because the picture shows a snake.
Yeah, what's your first clue?
Not hard to figure out what they're putting on on their pizza. So you can get you order your pizza with snake, and it's combined with cheese, black mushrooms, and Chinese dried ham. Of course, if you don't want all that stuff, you just order snakes on a plane.
Is the horn there? You have the horn, Paul.
Oh, the horn. Thanks, John. I forgot all about the horn. I was so involved with, I got my red clown nose here. Where'd that come from? Well, my drawer is full of stuff. Mask. Remember when we used to wear masks?
Yeah.
I'll put my red clown nose on. There we go.
All right. I love it. So, what is Chinese ham? What's the difference?
I don't know. That was a good question. I was trying to find out what Chinese dried ham. Oh, I can't breathe very well with that thing on. I would, I would eat snake meat on a pizza. Can't, it can't be any worse than pineapple. I'm not a big fan of pineapple. So, John, you're not one to test too many odd foods. I
No,
don't think.
I'll tell you what, Paul and Karen. No, I'm not going there. I mean, I'm pretty I guess traditional for lack of
Yeah.
a better phrase. Like if I saw toppings, if I pulled out a menu from a pizzeria and there was snake on there or something along that line, I don't think I'm going there. In fact, I'm
I don't
sure.
think
No, that's
either.
right.
No.
You go to McDonald's. Okay, so here's another food story for us. This was down in Florida, John. Now maybe you heard about this while you were down there. So this couple has a Ring camera on their front door, and they ordered food to be delivered by Uber Eats from Taco Bell. And so the food comes, but before they can go out to get it, they see this on their Ring camera here. So I'm showing a picture of a bear walking up to their front door. At some point, I think it actually looked into the camera. And then the second picture shows the bear picking up the bag of Taco Bell and carrying it off. If you watch the whole video, the bear eats the food in the driveway.
Wow.
It's the funniest thing. Yeah. And then, what bears do in the woods. Well, he was eating Taco Bell. He wasn't able to make it to the woods.
Got it.
Just it went right through him.
That's a bad
Poor bear.
visual. Yeah.
Yeah. So who knew bears like Taco Bell? I never would have expected bears. Dogs maybe, but iguanas. I don't know what else they have. Alligators down in Florida, but bear. I didn't even know that there were bears in Florida, so that surprised me as well.
Not very common, but they are there.
Yeah. Or maybe pizza from Domino's. If I were ordering pizza from Domino's and they delivered it and there were bears in my neighborhood, I'd tell them to write on the cover on the top of the box, gluten-free with broccoli. Maybe it'd scare the bear away. Even bears
absolutely
for a topping. Okay. All right. Speaking of Domino's, this was a funny story. This company in the Philippines, a mattress company, it's called the Uratex Mattress Company. They were celebrating a big anniversary. I don't know if it's the 50th anniversary of the founding of the company. So what they did to celebrate was they broke a Guinness World Record. And that Guinness World Record was for the most people, the largest human mattress Domino's fall. They lined up 2,355 employees and volunteers from all over the place, all over the city where they're at. Each one of them got a mattress, like a twin bed mattress, which they held behind them, so on their back. And then when they had them all lined up, somebody pushed the first person, and each one fell backwards onto the person behind them until all 2,355 of them fell over, setting a new Guinness World Record.
Wow.
Yeah. The whole thing lasted 20 minutes from the first one to the last one, which, by the time they were done after 20 minutes, the poor people who fell down at the beginning had fallen asleep on their mattress. Had to wake them up. Hey, we won. We set the record. And they had to finish this whole Domino's exercise in under 30 minutes, or the mattresses were free. So,
okay.
they didn't want to give away 2,355 mattresses. Can you imagine that? I mean, unbelievable that the kinds of things people come up with, and the kinds of things that the Guinness people actually consider to be world records. That always amazes me as well. Okay, here's one for another friend of the show, longtime friend of the show, longtime friend of mine, Simon down in Texas. We talked that last time Simon and I got together, we talked about this very subject. This is the best double entendre headline of the week. I'm going to put the headline up here and I'll read it to everybody. So the headline is from the Daily Star, and the headline reads, "Great tits have saved conkers from extinction by gobbling mini worms." Now, that sounds I read that. It sounds awfully dirty to me. But I know what conkers are, so I thought, oh, well, maybe it's not as dirty as I think it is. John, do you know what they're trying to say in this headline?
Oh, I'm looking at it, and it's not connecting for some reason.
It's not
So,
okay.
yeah,
So,
not connecting.
so the conkers, if you remember, we did this for sports. Conkers are horse chestnuts, which they
Right.
use for a sport in England. They tie ropes to them and beat each other with them. You know how the British are. Great tips, believe it or not, are birds, and the horse chestnut trees are endangered in England because of mini worms or grubs from a certain insect, which are boring into the horse chestnuts and killing them. So these great tits like the mini worms. So they've been encouraging them to breed, and as a result, they're eating more and more mini worms, and they're saving the horse chestnut or the conker tree from extinction. Now, it's that would have been far too long of a headline for the Daily Star to use. So they said instead, great tits have saved conkers from extinction by gobbling mini worms. Unfortunately, the Daily Star is now banned in Florida as a result of using that headline. So,
Really? Wow.
too many dirty words in the headline, John.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, very happy. Wow.
So, anyways, okay, here's one for you, John. John owns more sports memorabilia than anybody I know. But I don't know the answer to this question. Do you have any Babe Ruth memorabilia in your collection?
Honestly, I don't, Paul. No, I do not. No.
Well, then I've got some for you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We do.
Yeah. Oh, Karen does?
Yep.
Wow.
Wow. What do
Alex,
you have?
yeah.
Can you share it with us, or?
There's a ball somewhere in the rack downstairs.
That sounds dirty to me. What?
Yeah. So whenever
is
Alex
it signed
goes-
by him?
Yeah. So whenever
No kidding. Wow. How about that?
So whenever he goes to the Hall of Fame, he goes through all the stores
Yeah.
and he looks for the best deals
Yeah.
and he negotiates. And he got one about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Well, here's something that you can add. This is the perfect companion to the autographed Babe Ruth baseball. An auction house in New York is selling a 1914 Babe Ruth rookie baseball card. It is said to be one of the rarest baseball cards in the world. I have a photo of it right there. There you go. Okay. So the first thing you'll notice is that it is not of the Boston Red Sox, which was his first major league team, but his uniform is from a Baltimore team, the Baltimore something or other. Baltimore's minor league team. So he was drafted by the Red Sox, but they sent him down to their minor league team for like 10 minutes till they realized that he was the greatest player of all time. But long enough to take the picture and put it on this baseball card. So there's 10 of them. This is not the one that's in best shape, but it's in pretty good shape. John, give me a guess. How much do you think they're expecting to sell this Babe Ruth rookie card for?
Well, we're probably in the neighborhood, I would assume, of about $1 million, somewhere in
About
that
$1 million. That about is a big range there. $12.6 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is in fact, they're hoping to get $1 more than that, because 12.6 million is the most ever paid for a baseball card. And that was for a 1952 Mickey Mantle card. Which is the most ever paid for a baseball card. That one you could at least verify. You knew it was a Mickey Mantle card because it smelled like beer.
Yeah.
So yeah, get your bids in now. The auction is on November 17th, so it's a couple days away.
So this was
I don't have any baseballs, but I do have a half-eaten hot dog that the guy who sold it to me swore it was from Babe Ruth. That Babe Ruth actually ate it, and in fact, he even showed me a Babe Ruth. Let me see if I got the picture here. This is Babe Ruth pointing to the hot dog vendor telling him to bring him a hot dog right
Got it.
before he went up to bat.
He's not calling a shot as to where he's going to hit the home run. He's pointing out where he wants to get the hot dog.
And not even a photo, it's just a drawing. You know, I thought they had photos of Babe Ruth pointing where he was going to hit the home run. It's so tiny. It's even worse than a Bigfoot photo, John. That's how bad it was. So I didn't want to.
Oh, right. No, exactly. Yeah. No. Well, I don't think there is any photographic evidence of his point. That's a point of dispute. Yeah, that's right.
From like a movie or something. It's really, really tiny. So anyway, so here's something else you can buy instead of the baseball card. This guy, you know, I have friends who work on cars and buy, you know, they'll buy old cars and they'll buy wrecks and they'll put them in their garage and then they restore them back to health and, you know, into mint perfect condition. This guy, his name is Chris Wilson. He lives in California. He didn't buy a car. He bought a cruise ship, a 2000. Yeah. A 2000. Here's a photo of it while I talk about it. A 2,500 ton, 2,500 ton cruise ship. He bought it. It was for sale on Craigslist of all places.
Geez.
Yeah, in 2008, cruise ship for sale on Craigslist. He didn't say how much he paid for it, but he said it's going to cost him at least $3 million to restore it. Now, this is it's 293 feet long. That's how big it is. It's called the Aurora, and he did some research before he bought it. This is amazing to me. This boat was the inspiration for the television show The Love Boat. This was, somebody saw The Love Boat, you know, some TV writer saw this ship and thought, hey, we should do a show about people who go on cruises on a boat, and let's call it The Love Boat. It has 3 decks, 85 cabins, a dining room, and a swimming pool. What I want to know is how he found a garage big enough to put this thing in. Right off the bat. That was my first question. But then he goes inside of it. He gets it and he goes inside of it. He's going through all the room. Every single one of them is empty except one. And that's how he knew this was a love boat, because inside of it was Charo. And Charo was one of the she was always on the Love Boat. I thought, you know, John, were you a big Love Boat fan?
No, you know, I would watch it or what have you. You get a couple laughs out of it type thing, but I wouldn't like plan my evening around it. I mean,
then I guess you don't know my husband very well.
I was gonna say
all the time.
He still watches it. Yeah. So he knows how many episodes Charo's been on. I thought Charo was the celebrity who had the most appearances on the Love Boat. It turns out it was Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days. Yeah, what's her name? Marion Ross was the actress's name. She appeared 14 times on the Love Boat. None of them with Mr. Cunningham. I think she would bring the Fonz on in disguise, or sometimes Ralph Malph, but never Mr. Cunningham, Mr. C, as they called him. Right. This boat was also used in a James Bond movie. I almost said To Sir with Love, From Russia with Love, which was one of the early and still considered to be one of the best Sean Connery James Bond movies. Spectre, the criminal organization he fought against, used this as their headquarters. So it's a cool ship, you know, to be restoring. He's going to make it into a museum, and of course he lives on it. I can't believe this. You would think the guy is single, but oh no, he has a girlfriend. Here's his girlfriend. Here he is with his girlfriend, and they live on the ship. Wow. And of course, they said they spent a week on it and they got COVID, so then they were stuck there for a month. And she doesn't have the heart to tell him that she's already measured, and when he's done, it's not going to fit out the garage door anyways. They're going to have to knock the garage down, and I'm just kidding. He's building it in some harbor facility. Okay, let's see how we're doing on time here. This was another popular story on Facebook. So this comes from China. There's a shopping mall in China. In fact, there's probably more than one, but the story was about one in particular, where it seems like there's always a long line outside the restroom. So they remedied the situation by putting up an interactive board outside the restroom. and it shows how many stalls are available. It shows the wait time that anyone might have getting in. Yeah, yeah. And the this is my favorite part, and the air quality inside the restroom at the time. Yeah. It ranges. The picture shows excellent. It ranges from excellent to very good, all the way down to Taco Bell customer here. Can you believe that people that get so upset that they need to know how long they're going to be waiting to get into the restroom? Oh, of course, maybe they have a problem. It could be that they really need to go. I've been in that position. But to me, I suggested that something that they should also display is how much toilet paper is left on the roll, because you might want to stop and buy. Yeah, you might want to stop and buy a magazine or something before you go in. Or, they should tell you how many urinals versus stalls, which would be for guys. And if the line is too long, maybe give you some directions out to the parking lot where there's a tree that you can use. But for women, I'm always thinking about our female listeners. I'm always thinking about Karen. What would be beneficial for you to see on this board?
They have more than 7 available.
More than 7 stalls? Yeah. I think, you know what I think? I think that there should be a special flashing light. If there's nobody in the men's room, you guys could go running into the men's room and use the men's room. I think that would help.
Good idea.
Because there's stalls in there that there's no reason why, and have a flashing light saying for guys, woman in men's room, wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I don't know. Maybe 15. Anyway, my apologies to the women on that one there. Okay, so regular listeners to the show have heard John and I talk about growing up in Parma, Ohio, famous suburb of Cleveland, made famous by Ghoulardi. We talk about Ghoulardi, the late night talk show, late night horror movie host, who, by the way, all I have to do is mention Ghoulardi, and people come out of the woodwork to say how much they loved him, including John, another friend of the show, and an old friend of ours, Dan, down in South Carolina. Yeah, he listened to one of the shows, the last show we mentioned Ghoulardi on, and he was gushing over him. He said, "Oh God, brought back all kind of memories." So here's another memory for you, Dan. So police were called out to Parma, Ohio, last week to corral a pony that got loose from somebody's yard. There's a picture of the pony. There's a picture of the Parma police officer. The pony was returned to the owner, who was given 30 days to find a home for it outside of the city. And they said no charges were filed against the horse, the pony, or the owner. But there was a guy who was wandering around trying to put quarters in the pony's head.
Oh no!
He was very confused. They took him away. So this police officer, his name is Officer Romano. He's got a big smile on his face. He had to rope the pony. He's got a future in rodeo if he ever retire. Yeah,
sure.
In fact, roping the pony, by the way, is a euphemism for sex in Texas. I don't know if you knew that. If somebody says they're going to rope the pony, give them 10 minutes or so.
Learn something new every day.
There you go. And you can tell that this pony was in Parma because it has white socks. So
good one.
There you go. I know. We were a long way to go on that one. So believe it or not, there is a law on the books in Parma, Ohio, that says you cannot have horses in city limits. And no, it's not specified. The mayor said a pony is classified as a horse. So it falls under the same law, and they had to remove him. Now, if Ghoulardi were alive today, and he heard that, he would go on his show and he would explain to people in Parma that you can still keep your Mustang and your Pinto. They're only talking about live horses.
That's pretty good, Paul.
Hey, isn't there a petting farm in Parma?
A petting zoo?
Little farm,
I don't
it's
know. A petting,
right
a
up a
petting,
ridge road.
Yeah,
you
right off
know,
the
there
road.
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Well, some people who saw this on Facebook commented to me that they knew where this house was. So this looks more like a neighborhood.
Okay.
That farm is on the far outskirts of Parma. Um, I think that's one of the original homesteads in Parma, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I know John's been waiting for Bigfoot, so I got Bigfoot over here. Let's line them up here. Okay, so the first one from Florida, John. I'm assuming you didn't see Bigfoot while you were down in Florida.
No, didn't see a swamp ape, didn't see a Bigfoot. We were keeping a watchful eye though, and
We, and by we you mean you, because I can't imagine your lovely wife looking for Bigfoot while she's down in
well,
Florida.
no, but as we were out in, public and so forth and going places, she was keeping an eye open, and she said, unfortunately, we have not seen one. So, better luck next time for us, I guess.
Well, okay, I'm going to give you a place to look. So they were doing a film on Bigfoot and on the swamp ape down in Florida. Eric Swanson is the filmmaker. He's down there interviewing witnesses who have seen the swamp ape, and there are 300 sightings of Bigfoot and swamp ape in Florida throughout the year. So it's the number 3 state behind California and Washington for Bigfoot sighting. So this is a 1997 photo that he used. He didn't have any. I didn't get a chance to circle it, but I think you can see the outline of some sort of thing, upright brownish humanoid figure in the middle that apparently a number of people saw. They were on a bus. And so they had multiple witnesses along. Thank you, Karen, for circling that. Multiple witnesses along with one person. One person who took the photo. Now, I know they weren't going to a casino, because if you're going to a casino, nobody would have cared what was going on out there. If maybe they were coming back. If they were coming back, they might be looking out the window and they saw this Bigfoot. They also found a 17-inch footprint that I think I have a photo of here. Matt Larson contributed that. So you can barely see the footprint in there. This guy's measuring it, and it was 17 inches. Only one, John, I'm sorry, before you point out that there were no other footprints, you're right. There's only one footprint there. I have a new theory. My theory is that Bigfoot does not like to walk. Bigfoot instead swings on vines from tree to tree. And every once in a while, he gets too low and he has to plant his foot and then spin off into space again. So
you are so smart.
That's my theory.
There you go.
I'm submitting that to the Bigfoot people and see what they think. Okay, now this is the one that I know you're going to like here. So this one is from Wales. You don't hear about Bigfoot in the United Kingdom very often, and specifically in Wales. I never have had a story from Wales until this one here. So this photo. Let's see, I got a photo here. Okay, I'm going to show the footprint first here. So there's the footprint. Bigfoot investigators there said it measured 16 inches long, same as Shaquille O'Neal, by the way. That's how big his foot is. He wears a size 23 shoe, which caused me to wonder and think it would be a great pay-per-view show if Bigfoot and Shaq fought each other. Maybe they wrestled. I think that'd be cool because they're about the same size and they probably have about the same temperament. So if they wrestled, Shaq, I think, or if they played basketball, maybe one-on-one against each other, Shaq would win. If they wrestled, I think Bigfoot would probably win. What I would then what they should do is put them both in the studio with Charles Barkley and let him beat up Charles Barkley.
He'll have some comments.
So the track was found in a wooded area near Caerphilly in Wales, next to some stick structures, and I'm going to show you the stick structures here. Now, many people believe that this is how Bigfoot builds their overnight accommodations, I guess you would call it, where they sleep or something. So this is the thing that they claim Bigfoot was sleeping in. So, John, what do you think of those two there? Before I give you the coda to this, so to speak.
Well, again, not to be a doubting Thomas, I'm not convinced. Sorry.
Not convinced. Okay. Not convinced. Well, everybody agrees with you, John, because right before the show, I'm looking through to see if I can find any more stories. And an update came through on this very story from a cryptozoologist by the name of Andy McGrath. That's a person who studies all different kinds of monsters. Andy saw the pictures, and he knows this well. He says he was actually making a movie about Bigfoot, and this was a joke footprint that they put down on the ground while filming a comedy segment of the show about a wild man said to reside on that very mountain. He also said that the stick structure that we're looking at was the work of their production team that was fooling around, and they wanted to see if they could build a Bigfoot
sanctuary.
Shelter. Yeah. So they built this for the comedy segment of the documentary, and he says I can't imagine how it got leaked out. So that means that somebody stole it and sent it out to social media, and it got picked up all over the place. It was all kind of people talking about it until we found out that it really wasn't. It's a fake. So way to go, John. You pegged another one.
Okay.
Pegged another one.
It's quite a talent that I have.
Yeah, you do. Put it on your resume. Okay. So my lovely wife will relate to this next story here. And I'm just going to ask you this question to everybody out there listening. Have you ever felt like you were experiencing actual physical pain when you heard someone use incorrect or improper grammar? Has that ever happened to you, Karen?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
Yes,
people use the wrong grammar. You get a physical pain. It
Yes.
turns out this is a scientific phenomena. I don't have the Latin term for it, but a study by the University of Birmingham found that for a lot of people, hearing or reading grammatical mistakes makes them experience psychological stress, similar to the flight or fight feeling. This was from the Journal of Neurolinguistics, one of my favorite magazines. I read it all the time. Now, I've never felt it when reading bad grammar, but I have felt physical pain when I myself have used improper grammar. Generally, when I get hit in the head by a shoe thrown by my lovely wife, who hates when somebody uses incorrect grammar. So it's her skill, John. It's something that she's known for.
She's honed her skill over the years, Paul, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, you better believe it. So this goes back to the first caveman. I didn't realize this. So anyways, I have a uniform for my wife. Here you go. This is I found this on the internet, the Grammar Police uniform. On the front it says Grammar Police, on the back it says to serve and correct. So
it's kind of cute, actually. Yeah, I like that. I like that phrase.
He's gonna want one of these, yeah. So this goes back to cavemen, by the way, to one of the first cavemen, Ugg, when he was explaining to his friend about going out and killing an animal. He says, "Ugg and me kill bull," which of course is improper grammar. The proper grammar would be, "Ugg and I done killed a bull." Probably not either. Okay, one more world record, then we'll get to John. This comes from Japan. This guy's a chef in Japan, a cook, and he broke the world record for the longest amount of time spent cooking. He was cooked nonstop for 119 hours and 57 minutes. Almost, let's see, that's almost 5 days, just minutes shy of 5 days on his feet cooking. I think I have a picture of him here. He also set the record. The next day, he started a new, after he got some sleep, he set the record for the longest amount of time baking in a stretch for almost 48 hours, 47 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. When he was all done, they broke the news to him that despite all that cooking he did, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Japan. So, he did all that cooking for nothing. Um, and even so, even if they did, nobody in Japan, he's Irish, nobody likes corned beef, cabbage, or
Mhm.
soda bread, which is
Right,
what he
those-
baked all
right,
the time,
right.
right? Yeah.
Sure.
Um, so so he did this back to back. So that's 7 days he spent baking and
Wow.
cooking. Yeah, yeah. 5 days of cooking, 2 days of baking. He got the idea when the power went out, and it was out for so long, his refrigerator was full of meat that was rotting in. So he ended up cooking that stuff. He thought, hey, I might as well go for the record. So I thought that was really interesting. Um, 5 days. How can you cook for 5 days? After an hour, I'm
Discipline there.
exhausted.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a lot of discipline, that's for sure.
So, anyways, all right. So this is, I think we've reached. Let's see. I think I have a foil. I have a sign. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's my signal that we've reached the end of this week's news segment of What in the World, which means it's time for What in the World of Sports with John Dinalo. I mentioned it during the show that John is my memorabilia guy. He's my sports guy, sports trivia guy. Every week I ask him to find us a sport that no one has ever heard of, something that fits with the theme of What in the World. Maybe something we can participate in, or something we would never be caught dead doing. And he comes up with both of all of the above. So this week he's got a great sport for us. So John, why don't you get to the sport, and I will make sure your photos are lined up here.
All right, sounds good, Paul. Thanks again for the intro. Appreciate it. So, we do have a sport this week, and our sport this week is angry table flipping. Now,
But no,
I'll
please
repeat
say
it.
that again.
I'll repeat that.
Say it again.
Angry table flipping.
Angry table flipping. Okay.
Now, this sport is truly unique and sounds funny to say the least. Let me explain. The Japanese are no strangers to unusual competitions. As a result, the Japanese have found a way to turn a rage-induced reaction, like flipping over an upright table, into an actual contest, an actual competition.
Really? Wow.
We actually missed it a few months back on October 16. A shopping mall, which is located in Japan's Iwata Prefecture, hosted the 12th annual World Chabudai Geishi Tournament. Now, the tournament is an official competition where participants try to flip a small tea table as far as possible. Now, wait, the premise
Oh,
is...
but wait, there's more.
yeah, I'm sure you're waiting for with bated breath on this one. But anyone can sign up for the competition, from a young child to the elderly. The goal of the sport is to flip the small wooden tea table as far as possible, but there is a fake fish that is on top of the table. And so the goal is, when you flip the table, is to project the fish as far as possible.
Oh my God.
It's a plastic fish. There it is. Paul's got a good
Yeah,
picture.
there's a picture of the fish.
Right. Now, the plastic fish is a Pacific Sauri, which is a type of a mackerel pike.
Yeah, here's a picture of what they
Oh,
really
it's a
look.
real
Great
fish.
picture of the
It's a
sauri.
real fish. Yeah, you're not allowed to use real fish. So
Right.
so apparently they use this plastic fish. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so you mentioned how you can compete and win. Contestants are judged on how far the fish flies, as well as overall performance.
Wow.
So there's technique involved in terms of how you actually approach the table, hold the table, and then flip it in an angry fashion. Now, what contestants do, to explain further, they kneel behind the small tea table, and next to an elderly woman who is dressed in cooking garb, Okay, that's
Oh yeah,
enough.
oh yeah, there she is over there. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Okay, so she and so when she touches their shoulder, that is the time for the contestant to flip the table angrily as possible. And what she'll do is there's a phrase, and I'm not exactly sure why this is, but she says, "Stop it," and that is when they get to flip out. Little odd.
Flip
It's
it
a
out.
little odd there, but that's part of the tradition. Now,
Wow.
the contestant has to shout phrases of anger, hope, or passion. So you can't just flip the table silently. Most contestants channel their rage and frustrations, shouting all kinds of things like, "I want a job offer," or "I deserve a raise." Now, one man directed his shout to women by saying or yelling, "What's wrong with me?"
Oh, good. And then
Well, I don't know.
flipped a little.
What is your first clue on that? But ideally, and they've accepted this through the years, any emotion is acceptable.
Wow. Well, I
Now,
bet that got him a lot of dates.
oh,
Yeah,
well,
I'm sure.
got him
Yeah.
a lot of looks. I don't know if I got him a lot of dates, but a lot of looks, I'm sure.
Wow.
Now, this year's winner, a member of the Iwate Big Bulls basketball team, channeled the love for his team, yelling at the top of his lungs, "Go Big Bulls," and sending the plastic fish hurtling through the air. Get ready for this, for 26 feet.
26 feet. Wow.
Now, for
Too bad
those,
he didn't make a basket with it too. That would have been good, something to see.
that's a 26 feet is pretty good. Now,
That's a long way. Yeah.
for those of you wondering how this unusual sport was established, the Japanese phrase "chabude geishi," which literally means upending the tea table in anger or frustration, and it is used figuratively to describe an outburst in an upheaval.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's a common expression.
It's a common
Like,
expression.
yeah. Yeah. Up.
And
Flip the.
as we know, when there's a chance for entrepreneurship in capitalism, believe it or not, there is even a very popular arcade video game that is based on that popular phrase. And I think Paul has a photo
Well,
of.
I've got a couple of photos. There's a couple of photos in here, John. This looks like a lot of fun. The video game actually has a table on it.
Yeah,
A
sure.
little table that you flip. Here's a guy playing it. There looks like there's fake food on the table or something, and he's probably
Yeah, there's right. Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
And here's another one. Bigfoot must have stepped into it because this one's kind of blurry here.
There's no picture of Bigfoot doing it. There's no picture of Bigfoot.
They even have animated table
Oh,
flippers.
wow.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon you watch on TV. On Saturday mornings, you can watch cartoons flipping table. It's unbelievable how popular this is in Japan.
Sure. Now, if you plan to try angry table flipping yourself, remember you must use plastic food, and you also must keep your rage yelling. It's a family show, so keep it clean. Otherwise, if you don't, they will throw you out of Denny's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last place you want to flip the tables is at Denny's. Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Angry table flipping. Obviously, there's no. I didn't hear anything about a league, but I bet you they've got angry table flipping leagues in
research did not
Japan somewhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, Paul and Karen, research did not yield anything in that regard. I was doing some more thorough research to try to find out a little bit more information, but I was not able to come up with anything else.
Well,
Oh,
let me ask you, are
sure.
either one of you going to try this at your Thanksgiving Day feast?
No, I want to stay in the family I'm in, so that's not happening. So that's not going to occur.
Well, maybe if you use plastic food, it might happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be for entertainment after dinner and everything, right? When everyone's just kind of sitting around.
Or maybe if your team doesn't win one of those, hundreds of games that are on Thanksgiving, you can have a little table to flip if you're angry.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. You can channel your emotion in somewhat of a positive manner instead of
Well, let's hope no Browns fans have to use the table flip on Sunday.
That's
right.
right. Exactly.
Pittsburgh fans, right? Well, but believe it or not, I also did some research, and this is an old sport in the United States. It goes back to when John and I were in college. In fact, John, I don't know if you remember this, but we had a competition for angry table flipping against another fraternity at our school that challenged us to angry table flipping. Do you remember that?
Well, you got me on that one too. No, I don't.
Well, you should have, because you were the hero of the competition, John.
Really?
Wow.
If I remember correctly, they had their best angry table flipper challenge us to a duel. And John is a pretty athletic guy. You might not think that by looking at him, but boy, back in the day, he was a real jock. So John was our designated table flipper, and they cheated, which is what those other fraternities always did. They cheated. They set the table, and I want to show you the table that they did. They put fish on it, but they also put beer on the table. Well, no self-respecting college student is going to flip a table that's got a full glass of beer on it. But John managed to figure out a way to flip the table, fling the fish, and not spill a drop of beer. And not only did he go the farthest, but let me show you where that fish ended up. It ended up right in the face of that other fraternity.
Good, John.
No,
I think busted his nose, it looks like there, John.
it comes back to me now. It literally comes back to me at this time now, right? Sure, exactly. Oh, that poor fellow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go. Angry table flipping. Boy, probably one of the most unusual sports we've ever had on What in the World of Sports. So thanks again, John.
You're welcome, Paul and Karen. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So we've got with the end of sports, that means it's time for Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Let's see if we can get back to a full screen here. All right. Wow, that's great. So here's how we play Bluff the co-host. I've got 3 stories similar to the ones we've been telling all afternoon. One big difference. Those were all real. These stories may be real, they may be a bluff, and it's up to you listening at home, Karen and John, to decide which ones are real, which ones are a bluff. We give out points, and betting is allowed. So why don't you place your bets? John and Karen, hands on the buzzer, and let's get right to story number 1. It seems like everyone you see is wearing earbuds, but not all of them are listening to music or phone calls. A gadget company has invented earbuds with no speakers at all. Instead, they contain little heaters to keep your ears warm on the coldest winter days. They were designed by a doctor to help insomniacs relax and de-stress by heating their ears. But the heated earbuds are also popular with skiers, hunters, and anyone who spends time outdoors in cold weather. Just be warned, they could put you to sleep, and you could end up snowplowing every driveway in your neighborhood before you finally wake up. Okay, so earbuds that don't play music, they heat up your ears. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
Well, I hope this is a bluff because I was just at my ear surgeon the other day, and I was told that keeping even hearing aids in your ears all day long are bad for your ears.
No kidding. Wow.
Oh, I'm going to say this is a bluff.
Oh, Karen says it's a bluff. Okay, from personal experience. Okay, John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's real. And I think this is one of the very few Bluff the co-hosts where there's a practical value of this. I mean, I think it would be beneficial for people, right? If they're out in cold weather, to keep their ears warm The inside, the inside of their ears warm, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna
Could
say
be,
sure.
could be. Yeah. Okay, so John says it's real.
Yeah, I'm saying it's real.
Yeah. John says it's real. Karen says it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, "Congratulations, John. That's a real story." Yeah, Karen. Go figure. It was developed for stress, not for warming your ears like earmuffs.
Really?
But that's what people are using it for.
Yeah.
So maybe it should have a cautionary message on there, not to wear them all day. I personally, my nose gets cold, so I'd stick them up my nose.
Let us know how that works out.
Yeah, I will, John. I'm not even going to say where else, but other people have already said they were going to stick it. Okay, so John is ahead one. Boy, John, you have been on a roll.
He
with
is.
the co-host.
Let me attribute my recent success anyway.
Okay.
It's practice. I mean, honestly, I mean that's what we do.
Flashcards. You got flashcards, little trivia books you read every night in the bathroom, and
it's also
My
thinking
God.
with your feet. So
John hates to lose. That's
He
it.
goes to rehearsal. That's why he knows the answer.
that's another secret, Karen. You just brought up. So yeah, that's true.
John's always at rehearsal, all by himself, waiting for it. Okay, so scores 1-0. Let's get right to story number 2 here. Shoppers at drugstores in Washington, D.C. are complaining because they can't squeeze the toilet paper before buying it anymore. The stores are putting pictures of the product on the shelf while keeping their toilet paper locked up in the back due to a recent rash of toilet paper shoplifting. Crime experts are not sure why this is only happening in Washington, D.C., but politicians from both parties say it's due to an unusual amount of BS from their opposition. In the meantime, drugstores in Maryland are advertising to Washington, D.C. residents that they can, there's all the toilet paper that you can squeeze on their shelves for the squeeze deprived. Okay, so drugstores in Washington, D.C. have to lock up their toilet paper because it's being stolen. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you.
Well, I'll tell you, on this one, I think it's true. I think there's all type of strange behavior by people these days. And I think some people don't even have any, scruples, and, they will just steal toilet paper instead of paying for it. So
especially people in Washington, D.C. Is that what you're saying?
that's a whole different perspective on that, Paul. Yes, but I'm going to say it's true.
Okay, John says that's a true story. Karen, how about you?
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I think for some reason, toilet paper is one of the things that people like to steal. Have no idea why, but yeah.
Okay, so Karen says it's real. John says it's real. They both agree. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, congratulations to both of you. That's a real story.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. That was a problem during COVID as well. Because of the toilet paper shortage. It's only at CVS, and I don't know why they don't know why people are stealing it, but they had to lock it up. So let's check the scores. 2-1. John is ahead, but as everybody knows, points are doubled in round number 3. So Karen could come from behind and win.
What?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's get right to story number 3. The old adage about hell freezing over may be true, but cold weather won't keep the devil out, according to a Catholic exorcist who was summoned to a base in Antarctica when a scientist working there began showing symptoms of demonic possession that doctors couldn't treat with conventional medicine or therapy. The exorcist was flown in from Alaska, where he has performed a number of frigid exorcisms and has developed certain prayers which he said work better in extremely cold conditions. The biggest challenge is keeping the holy water from freezing, but that wasn't the problem in this case, as the exorcist claimed the demon knew him and quickly exited from the scientist, who says he doesn't remember a thing. Okay, so an exorcist called to Antarctica from Alaska to drive a demon out of a very cold, possessed scientist. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
I'm not going to use logic here, And I'm just going to say it's real.
Okay. That sounds illogical. So Karen says it's real. John, how about you?
Well, it is a tough one. I mean, part of me wants to think that it's true. But I'm gonna say it's false. I'm gonna say it's a bluff.
Oh, John says it's a bluff. Okay. John says it's a bluff. Karen says it's real. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say John is 3-0 today. That is a real
Whoa!
wow.
No,
I'm
I'm
impressed.
beside myself. I mean, being able to have all those three at one time, one day. I mean, wow! I'm gonna go out and jump around and celebrate. I mean, wow!
Go buy a
don't
lottery ticket.
There you go, Karen. There it is. Luck is on
Don't
my
do
side.
that while the video's on. We'll get banned from YouTube. So
Okay. Well, we'll try to keep it under wraps then. So
there you
all
go.
right.
We don't want you to knock over your brownie elf there either. So
Oh no, that would
Wow.
create a big problem. So yeah, I don't want
there
to
you
do
go.
that.
That would be all right. Well, congratulations, John, for a perfect score at Bluff the Co-host.
Yes.
But it's time that I've been on the air too long. It's time for a break here. So I want to thank Karen Hale, the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our producer, our co-host, and now our sponsor via her coaching business. So thank you so much, Karen, for everything you do for us and for newclevelandradio.net. Please, everybody, go there, find out how to download our podcast and all the rest of the great podcasts Karen has. Plus, I would imagine some information about her coaching
Absolutely.
as well. So thank you for that. Thank you, as always, to my old buddy John Dinalo for What in the World of Sports, for his color commentary, his Bigfoot. Definitely when it comes to Bigfoot, he is just our guy to go to, and all around great guy. So John, thank you. Let's hope we see a winner this weekend.
Oh yeah, I hope so, Paul and Karen. Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. Pretty exciting on the lake.
Yeah.
Go
I
Browns.
think so. And most importantly, I want to thank everybody out there who's listening, watching, however you're partaking of What in the World. It's because of you that we do this every week. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We will always hope that you have as much fun listening to the show as we have in doing it. Because that's why we do it. And laughter, and Coach Karen will tell you, laughter is one of those things that's beneficial to everybody.
Absolutely.
Every single person. You need to laugh. So what better place to laugh than to laugh at us?
Yeah.
Hey,
we're pretty good at laughing at ourselves.
A minute for everyone.
That's right. And I want to get one more thanks and a shout out to my buddy Brian down there. Thanks again for the hot tamales. I'm having them for dinner because I obviously survived after eating one during the show. So I'll put some ketchup on them. And they'll be great.
Ooh, sounds delicious.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get out of here. Thanks again for everybody, and we'll see you next in 2
No,
weeks.
2 weeks. We're taking next week off.
2 weeks.